In software engineering, we are taking chapter number 29, Software Configuration Management. Software Configuration Management. So this is all about management. That is, you are organizing, planning in a way such that different activities in the software development life cycle, it can be tangible, it can be intangible, normally tangible, and these things are configured in a way so that everyone helps from this planning. That is, a change will always be there. No matter what you are in which phase of your software development life cycle, the system will change, the software will change, the work product will change. So the desire to change will persist throughout the life cycle. So in order to manage this change, basically it's a software configuration management. So normally there is always a configuration management software that deals with it, but we need to understand what this software is doing. So software configuration management is the task of tracking and controlling what? Changes in the software. So it's all about tracking, controlling, reviewing, managing the changes. And this software configuration management is a part of a bigger set which is called the configuration management. In every project, in different fields also, you will find this configuration management. So we have software configuration management. This is all about changes, tracking and controlling. So in this software configuration management, the practices are, first is important is a revision control, the version control, and the establishment of the baselines. That is, if you remember this VLC player, so you know when it started and now you know what version it is. So how to control this version, what changes have been done, who has done it, how they are being kept. They are being kept in GitHub or wherever it is. So this is the management of configuration software, because the software keeps on changing, the work product keeps on changing, and the tracking and controlling of all this using revision control and establishment of baselines is SCM. So in software engineering, this SCM, software configuration management, is a process to systematically manage, organize and control the changes in the documents, codes, and there are other entities during the SDLC. So I'm showing you, say, your cabinet. You have placed your shirt, your pants, trousers, your shoes properly. So when you are able to do it, whenever you want to access it, you will be able to access it properly. So you have actually managed, organized, controlled. So we are controlling here in SCM the documents, the codes. There are other work products also, whichever is produced in the SDLC or software development lifecycle. So this is software configuration management. I'll give you one more example first. See, the best way is, I'll give an example. There is an Apache SVN, and this can act as a server. Now you have a tortoise client. Now you can just connect it. There are different people who have tortoise client and they can access SVN. In software configuration management, see, in every phase of the software development life cycle, SDLC, you will see in all these phases, there are different products, there are different outputs. So what will be the output in planning and specification? Of course, software requirement specification. Analysis and design, you will find the design document. That can be a baseline, that can be a milestone, that can be a product or the work product which we are interested in. So the output of software process is information that may be divided into three main broad categories. So these are the outputs in different various stages of the SDLCs. The first one can be computer programs. Of course, this is the basics. That is the source level, the source code. It can even be executable or the installer. Okay, this can be the one of the output. The other categories is the work product. That is going to give information about the computer programs. and it may be targeted to various stakeholders, because some say user guide, user manual, the installation guide, the compilation guide, all these are related to your stockholders. Now the data and the content. Now these data and content are contained within the program or external to it. So I am talking about the database, I am talking about the input domain, I am talking about the information being fed to this system. So this is not only the input in numbers. I'm talking about all the documents also, all the deliverables also, all the work products also. So the items that encompasses all information produced as a part of the software process. Software processes means software development lifecycle phases. They are collectively called a software configuration. Okay, so the way to actually manage them, control them, this is the way, or mainly the changes. You are controlling and managing the changes in all these work product, the categories. So which version is coming when, what changes has been done, who has done the change, what has been delivered to the user, what is accessible to you. This is software configuration. So in this software configuration management, I'll call it SCM. Whenever the inception of the project take place, that is the starting of the project. So we in the software engineering work progress, when it progresses this work, there is a hierarchy of software configuration items. That is the work products. So this SCI we are calling in SCM as the work product. So it can be say a UML diagram, as simple as a UML diagram, or it can even be larger than that. So I'm just trying to highlight here that in the SCM we have SCIs, software configuration items, which we are going to manage and control. And it can be UML diagram, even it can be a bigger one like the design document. So this is created. SCIs are created while the SDLC is taking place. So if each SCI, that is one work product or SCI, it simply led to other SCI. So there will be one different from another. One UML, some changes are there. Second UML, some changes. Third UML. Now, when each SCI led to or creates the other SCI, there may be a confusion because the changes are there. So what actually inherits all these changes is a change. The different versions, who is actually driving the force? Change. So SCM scenario can be like this. This is the SCM operational scenario which we are discussing. So we have a typical project manager. So a project manager who is actually the whole soul or in charge of the software group. He is controlling a software group. There will be a configuration manager who is controlling or who is in charge of the configuration management procedures and the policies. That is, maybe the system followed in the company is different from the industry standard. The software engineer who are responsible for actual development and who are also responsible for the maintenance of the software product, and the customer who is actually going to use the product. So we can have say a product with 15,000 lines of code, and this is developed by say 6 people. So we need, whenever these 6 people, the project manager wants to see what is happening, the configuration manager wants to know the track, the developer wants to access say a previous version, a user wants to know what and previous what changes have been done. So we need to have a SCM. So we have in this different SCM, we have commit, we have say remove, all these things are there, and we can just go to different versions, and these versions, whenever they are in SCM, they are properly truly verified, validated, then only it goes. So all these people, whenever they are working together, we need a proper way to organize and to harmonize it. In the SCM elements, that is the software configuration management elements, so this software configuration management, let me tell you that whenever we do this management, we are actually talking about changes. So Susan Dart, in a very comprehensive white paper on SCM, four Dart suggested that there are four elements that has to be there if the CMS has to be developed: component elements, process elements, construction elements, and human elements. Now, what do these correspond? See, first of all, there are tools coming here. There can be only tools or procedures and tasks. So we are talking about tools, procedure, and task. As I said, we have functions or tools. So SCM is all about a software which is handling and managing the change control. Okay, so SCM is all about change control. For that, what we need? For example, for software testing, we use LDRA. That is a testing tool. Okay, static analysis is a function, dynamic analysis is a function for testing. So the component elements, this is a set of tools coupled with the file management system. So we are talking about component elements, that is a database. All these SCI elements have to be put into some repository and some place, and then we need to access it. So that has to have a database that will allow us to access and manage each of these SCI, that is software configuration items. Okay, so we need component elements. Even if we want to develop a new CMS, we need component elements, that is a database properly. We need some procedure, task, etc. So that is called the process elements. So process elements are the collection of procedure and task. Okay, that is managing this change management. Then we have the construction elements. These are the set of tools that automate the construction of software by ensuring that the proper set of validated components. Now we are talking about a validated component. That is what we are doing. The tools have to see that a correct version is placed, have been assembled, have been verified, have been validated. Then comes the human elements. Human, of course, human is always there. Now let me show you picture here. This is the change in requirements. There can be change in the team or the organization. People may change. People leave the job. There were new people. Change in government policy, rules, change in the project schedule. So whenever changes come, it always affects the code, project plan, documents, test, and data. So for that, we need some change management, and that this SCM is actually doing all these. I'll show you with the diagram also. Changes in the business requirement, in technical requirement, in user requirement. So we need to see that these changes will propagate to the project plan, test, code, data, other documents. So we have the programs, document, data, they need change. Whenever these changes are there, they need to be properly managed in order to keep up with these changes, and everyone should know where we are. So for example, say if we just copy your old file in your folder, you will rename it to old.old. So this is a simple task you do always. But when so many people are a big organization is doing it, we need SCM. Baselines. So baseline, whenever we start running for 100 meters, there is always a start line. So here we are talking about that start line. This is the baseline. So the IEEE defines the baseline like this. This is 610.12/1990. So it is a specification or a product that has been formally reviewed and agreed upon. This is very important. Formally reviewed and agreed upon. And this serves as the basis of future further development, and that can be changed only through the formal change control procedures. You cannot just change it by yourself. The baselines can only be changed using or going through the formal change control procedure. These are called baselines. A baseline act as a milestone in the development of software or the web app or the mobile app that is marked by the delivery of one or more software configuration items, SCI, that is say SRS, say a design document, and the approval of these SCIs that is obtained through a proper formal technical review. Okay, so baseline is a milestone of work products, and only change can be done through formal technical review. This is the whole idea. Now, just I want to highlight here. This is a right, there is a box, and there is an opening and closing. So these SCIs, when they are picked up from that box on the right, they can only be done when you follow formal technical review procedure. It can be specification, system specification, software requirement, design, source code. There are many others. So this project database or the repository is actually having your baselines, and you need to change it. You need to follow a proper formal procedure, because this is the basis, this is the basic definition of a baseline. Once it has been created, it cannot be changed. It can only be changed when there is a proper change, and that change has to be accepted through the proper channel, knowing the cost and effort estimations for that. So this is how what I'm suggesting, baselines and formal technical review. This is also a baseline progression, how it happens. You see the boxes on the right, they are increasing. So these are the software configuration objects. Like in design specification, we can have data design, architecture design, module design, interface design. Similarly, in others also, like test specification, we have test plan, test procedure, test cases. So we have different objects, and these are kept in your SCM. Software configuration repository. Repository is a kind of database where you put things. So as I said, you can just have a SVN, say Apache SVN, and then you can have a tortoise to access it. Or the easiest example to understand this SCM is GitHub. GitHub, this is the best way we can understand SCM, because this gives all the possibility of this software configuration management. So SCM repository is the set of mechanism and the data structure that allow a software team like you and me as a developer till the program manager to manage change in an effective and efficient manner. Okay, SCM repository is all about your data, content, all is there. So it needs to have some tool, function, mechanisms, and the data structure. So this repository performs these functions like data integrity, information sharing, tool integration, data integration, methodology enforcement, and document standardization. So most of the time we can talk about what the database is providing, the repository is providing, but it is providing for your change management of different baselines and work product. See here. Now these are different round circles which I've shown, but you see in project management content what we have: project estimate, project schedule, the SCM requirement, change request, change report, SQL requirements, project reports, audit reports, project metrics. So every of these box has all these contents. And these contents will be where? In a repository. And in repository, these may be, some may be baseline, some may not be. So this is the repository, and we have mechanism and data structure to manage change in each of these documents or work products in an effective way, in an efficient way. Okay. For SCM features, we need to understand that every SCM should provide certain characteristics or features. First thing is versioning. That is, we need to save all of these versions, different versions. For example, we made a product. Now we released it. Say some version number we gave. We made another increment of this. We gave it another version. So how to manage which one is the previous, which one is this one, whom to work, who has worked, what number was given. Everyone should know. So saves all these version to enable effective management of product releases or the version releases, and to permit the developers to go back to the previous version to the new version. Then the SCM characteristic is dependency tracking and change management. So the repository, it manages a wide variety of relationship among the data elements stored in it. So you are actually, they are different work product, they have dependency. So they will have interdependency. So when you are changing somewhere, it has to be tracked otherwise also in other places. Then the requirement tracing. Once you have created a requirement, either in design change, either in the code change, it has to reflect back to the software requirement. So it provides the ability to track all the design and construction components and deliverables that result from a specific requirement specification, SRS. Then the configuration management. This is the only part which we are discussing. It keeps track of series of configuration representing specific project milestones or the baselines or the production releases, and version management provides the needed version, and the link management keep track of all the interdependencies between them. Audit trials. Now audit trials, this establishes additional information: when, why, whom, by whom these changes were made, because this is all about change management. So in the SCM process, every SCM process need to follow or address certain questions, answer certain question. Before you are making a process, you are making a, ultimately, as I said, there will be a software configuration management system. So the questions need to be answered by this software or the SCM is: how does a software team identify the discrete elements of software configuration? How does a organization manage the many existing versions of a program or its document related document in a manner that will enable change to be accommodated efficiently? How does an organization control changes before and after it has been deployed, released to the customer? What has been changed, when changed? Customer knows what we have and what was the previous one. Who has the responsibility for approving and ranking changes? What is the authority? Is it a program manager? Is it someone else? How can we ensure that changes have been made properly? Are they acceptable? Are they not? Are they done with proper input? What mechanism is used to appraise others of changes that are made? That is, if you have done certain changes, the others should also know. Everyone should have a proper released, new, updated link or notification that this thing has been changed. Now you can do this. So this mechanism has to be there in your SCM, along with the change control, along with the version control, along with the responsibilities, along with the changes done properly, well validated and properly reviewed. So if you see, these are the layers of SCM processes. SCIs are the basic elements. We have identification, change control, version control, configuration auditing, and finally the reporting. Okay. Version control we are going to see in the next discussion. Till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.